Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today from NECA and Wizards of the Coast, we are featuring Dungeons & Dragons Warduke Ultimate Action Figure. Alright, so this is an action figure I've been anticipating for months. I've been really excited about this since day one when they first announced it, and I have it in hand, and I'm just so excited to check this out. So this is produced by NECA. As you can see, it comes in the standard NECA packaging. Beautiful, beautiful box art. You see Warduke here with his flaming sword, and he's on the battlefield with flames all around him. I love the really warm color scheme, and I don't know, there's this something about this that just feels, for lack of a better term, magical. I was a big fan of the original figure when I was a little kid, and for me to have like an updated action figure of the character in 2023 just like boggles my mind. As you can see, the box art is just gorgeous. I love the back also. You have some beautiful photography of the character. Also available is Grimsword, the Evil Knight, and we have Warduke. Warduke fights as a remorseless, cold-hearted mercenary who works for coin. The evil swordsman serves as Kellic as a cohort. The evil swordsman serves Kellic as a cohort and adventuring companion from time to time. He wields a flame-tongued longsword and wears a dread helm. He never removes his helmet to reveal his face to others, but the visage beneath it is that of a grim, hideously scarred gladiator. And the box is cool too, much like other NECA packaging. You open up the cover, and on the inside the figure is beautifully displayed with all the accessories. Again, more fig photography over here. Yeah, so this is, I don't know, I'm just kind of at a loss for words. I was so excited to get this today. So I got this online through the Chosen Prime. The Chosen Prime is an online retailer, more so known for selling Transformers. And over the last few years, they started carrying action figures, which is really cool. This was reasonably priced, I think, for like $37.99. You know, I think that's a fair asking price for a figure like this. It really appeals to like a very specific groups of fans. You know, I don't think this has much mainstream appeal as it might have had, like, you know, way back then. But we're seeing a resurgence in Dungeons & Dragons, you know, with the anniversary of the 1980s cartoon, and also with the upcoming live-action film. So let's get started and take a look at Warduke. My only reservation with this right now is that I'm kind of worried about handling the figure. NECA, for as beautiful as their action figures are, you know, not that they're like delicate or whatever, but you know, I'm just kind of leery on getting too crazy with the joints, and I don't want to accidentally break this because this is like a figure I've been really wanting, and I don't want to like F it up on the first day. Alright, so let's get this out. First impressions of the action figure. It's Warduke. This really lives up to the character's name. You know, it's everything I've wanted in a modern version of the character. It is just gorgeous. Lots of accessories here. You have multiple hands. You have a pointer finger, another a C grip. You have his armored hand over here also. You have the flame effect for his long sword, which is over here. And you have a couple of other options here as well. You know, two other longer knives. Right, so right now I'm just going to focus on the action figure. I don't want to deal with the weapons too much because I don't want to accidentally drop and lose them. But at the very least, we can take out the long sword. And if anything, let's take a look at the flame effect also. And also, keep in mind his shield is also included with this. And you'll find that on the back right here. It's taped into the box. So I'm just going to leave this here for now. Like I said, I just want to focus on the action figure. And let's get this guy out. Sweet. All right. All the accessories kind of exploded out of the tray. So I guess we can look at the knives while we're at it. Yeah, a lot of plastic ties holding this guy down. I hate these things. These are like the bane of my existence. I can't stand all these friggin' ties. Alright, lots of fun accessories here. Let's take a look at the accessories before we look at the figure. Set them aside for now. Alright, so we got, I'm not sure if these are knives or short swords. But either way, they're really, really beautiful. They feel like they're a little bit more on the fragile side. If you've handled some of NECA's action figures before, you'll know what I'm talking about. These are like a different kind of plastic than what you'd get with, like, compared to like a Marvel Legends. Really beautiful. There's nice red gemstone, kind of like a metallic finish for the handle. You have like a metallic blue and kind of like a dirty gold. The other one, really beautiful as well. Nice contours on it, well sculpted detail. And then we'll come to the sword. Again, very, very well done. And these are accessories, like I mentioned, you don't want to get too crazy with these. The material, not that it's super fragile, but you don't want to get like too crazy with it, because, you know, I think the last thing you'd want to do is accidentally like snap the sword at the handle or at the blade. You know, the plastic here, it's not as bendable or as pliable as you'd find with like other toy lines. But I think that's because, you know, you get a lot sharper, cleaner details on this. So in some ways you're sacrificing durability in order to get, you know, a much cleaner, sharper sculpt. You know, especially for a premium action figure, I think the last thing you'd want is like a sword that's like too wobbly and doesn't have a point. You know, this one is really, really gorgeous. And then here's the flame effect. really well done. And it works as so. There's like a slot, and then you just slide the blade in there. It's a snug fit too. I'm kind of surprised by how tight it is. And there you go. It looks amazing. All right, so a word of caution. In my opinion, if this is something you're going to display on your shelf, I think if this is something you're going to display for the long term, I'd refrain from keeping the flame effect on, especially like if you live in an area where it's like hotter temperatures, just because, you know, I think over time, I've seen this happen before with other, you know, things in my collection personally, like over time, if, you know, heat sometimes changes materials and paint especially. And if you're going to display this, I'd remove the flame effect, because I think the last thing you'd want to do is put this on here. Then if you know, come back to the figure after like a year or two, you never know if this will be stuck on because of the paint. And worse yet, if you try removing it, you don't want to mar the blade or accidentally snap it off. So that's just my opinion, but, you know, take it as you will. And let's get to the main event. Warduke himself. A gorgeous action figure. I love his helmet, the Dread helmet. It's beautiful, a nice metallic gold. He has those iconic red eyes peeking at you from underneath, cast in shadow. It is gorgeous. Beautiful figure. Really well done. The sculpting is amazing. The scale mail on the armored left arm looks beautiful. I love the shade of metallic blue. And it comes down to like this really dirty metal on the forearm with his gloved fist. His belt is very impressive. Nice clean sculpt with the devil's skull or the horned skull. The fur-like texture is really well sculpted as well. Yeah, whoever sculpted this figure, this really feels like a labor of love. You know, a lot of care went into designing this, and, you know, staying true to the original design. He kind of has the buccaneer boots with the gemstone, and then he has the shin guard on the opposite end. Real chain holding a scabbard here for the knife. Really impressed with that. Love the detail on the pouch. Nice shade of red with the gold buckle. And then you have the large sheath for the longsword back here. Again, accented with a red gemstone. And let's try to store the weapons onto his body. So we have the one knife here, or short sword. Let's put that in its scabbard. Like so. Again, you want to exercise some care. You know, not that this is like super fragile, but the plastic quality, as I mentioned, it's not like handling, you know, like an action figure made by like Hasbro or Playmates. You know, these are much more premium collectibles than they are actual toys. This this knife here, it feels kind of snug going into the scabbard, and I'm not gonna risk putting it in because it feels like for me I might have to put a little bit more force into it, and I don't want to accidentally snap it at the handle. So set that aside. In terms of his articulation, Warduke, his head rotates left and right. Does he look down a little? Does he look up? Not so much, more so looking forward. His arms, joints are super tight. I'm not gonna get too crazy with this, but I'm just gonna point out where the articulation is. Much like other action figures, you know, arms articulated up here, little snug. It'd be nice if they extended the arm outward more, maybe with a butterfly joint. Bicep cut, tight swivel. Single pinned elbow. And I think it has a swivel at the elbow as well. Slight swivel. Articulated wrists. And they also fold inward and outward. He has a cut mid-torso there for so you can swivel. Not really ab crunch. The movement of his legs feel like it's going to be hindered because of the furry, like, loincloth deal here, but his legs kick up. They kick out, and they also swivel at the thigh. Single jointed knee bend, and there's a swivel to that also. There's a boot cut allowing for swivel, and then he has articulated ankles, and mine feel kind of tight. I'm not going to force that either. There is no articulated toe, but so an action figure like this, it feels like, you know, much like other NECA pieces, it feels like it's more meant for display than to get, you know, crazy and loose with, in terms of like posability. Like, it has all the articulation you'd want, but it's not like a figure arts figure where you're gonna get all crazy with all the wild poses. This feels like something that you just more so just proudly display and just kind of like stare at. And rightfully so. It's gorgeous. It's really a work of art. Beautiful figure. Look at that. Head sculpt is amazing. The body's well done. The accessories very cleanly sculpted and beautifully detailed throughout. Nice dry brushing on the fur. And the metallics, they just really stand out. They're not too glossy. They just have a nice sheen to them. And under the right lighting conditions, this guy just looks amazing. You know, this guy is very photogenic. I have no issues with him like autofocusing, and the colors on him just really pop. Beautiful contrast all around. Wonderful figure. So I've been excited over the Warduke character because, you know, this guy's seen some love prior to this figure. You might remember last year we got this. If you're a Dungeons and Dragons fan, or if you're a fan of just miniatures, we got the Dungeons and Dragons Icons of the Realms. This was from the campaign The Wild Beyond the Witchlight, and Warduke here is featured in the center. He's part of the League of Malevolence, and for me it was awesome to get this miniature. It's kind of cool to get an updated figure of him, even though it was small, and I was really excited about this miniature set. It's cool that, you know, they brought him back for The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. So if you're into like tabletopping and like old school D&D, you know, here's an actual miniature of Warduke that came out back in, I think, 2022. I don't think it was 2021. Yeah, no, this is 2021. I stand corrected. So this was 2 years ago. And if you're very old school, you'll remember this. The original Warduke figure from the 1980s, and this is like one of those action figures that as a child, it was so iconic to me. This really embodied Dungeons and Dragons for me as a kid. You know, as much as I loved the 80s cartoon, I was too young to play the actual you know, tabletop game, but as a kid I loved the toys. Here's here's the other figure I have too in my collection. This is actually my childhood figure. This one I had to hunt down on eBay a few years ago, and actually showcased this in a video maybe a year ago. So if you're interested about this, hunt down the video I have in my back catalog. But it's just amazing that in 2023 we're getting an updated action figure of this guy right here. It's really cool to actually have, you know, two different versions of them. Really, really cool. And it's so fun to see you know, when you compare them and see how, you know, the modern figure retains all of the detailing of the original figure, you know, from the helmet to the body armor to the necklace. And it's just fun to see it, you know, the reinterpretation of it, you know, 40 years later. So very excited. Great figure. In terms of its height, this guy stands in at about at the peak of his helmet, 8 1/4 inches. For a size comparison, here he is next to a Diamond Select action figure. This is Alfred from the Gotham series. Comparable height. And here he is next to the McFarlane designed Batman. Again, comparable in height. So yeah, I'm very stoked on this guy. If I was to rate this guy on a scale of 1 to 10, visually he's perfect. He looks like everything I'd want in a Warduke figure. So visually he's a 10. The package design a 10. The accessories a 10. The only thing that kind of hurts it is the posability and the articulation. So I think overall I'd rate this guy a solid 8.5. You know, NECA figures, they're not necessarily known for being the most articulated or posable figures. They're really much more display pieces in my opinion, and this guy, it's beautiful. It really embodies the spirit of the original character. And it's just awesome that in this day and age that, you know, it's almost like a love letter to like old school fans. You know, if you grew up in the 80s or if you're just a fan of Dungeons and Dragons, it's just so cool to get like a really solid premium figure of this much beloved character. Alright, so let's wrap this up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.